Hello again. Now, the South African sugar industry is set to lose 723 million rand in 2023 due to load shedding. That's according to data compiled by the SA Canegrowers. Now, the organization is appealing to government to put in place short-term measures to mitigate the impact on growers while long-term solutions are being considered. Well, let's discuss how dire the situation is now with the CEO of SA Canegrowers, Dr. Thomas Funke. Dr. Funke, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA, and thank you very much for your time. First, just an overriding question. I mean, how desperate are cane growers because of this load shedding that's affecting everybody?
Yeah, good afternoon. At the moment, we've had some dry weather. I think everyone in SA has seen that in January with extreme heat waves, especially in the irrigated areas. Now, with this load shedding crisis that's ongoing, farmers just cannot put enough water down onto their fields in order to prevent yield losses. So that has prompted us to go and do some research and to find out exactly what these losses are. And the numbers are horrifying. The 723 million is what we're expecting this year, just in yield loss. And that is if we stay on stage 3 load shedding. If we go to another level, then obviously those losses will increase.
And the industry, how many people does it employ, by the way? Do you have a number for us?
Yeah, look, a million livelihoods are dependent on the industry. On-farm employment is in the region of 70,000 workers. This area alone, we're talking Mpumalanga and Northern KZN, has over 1,000 farmers that are growing sugarcane under irrigation, many of them small-scale farmers, and they employ over 10,000 people. So quite a number of jobs at risk here.
Yeah, so you're saying currently the load shedding that's happening means that if there's no power, when it's not raining, the farmers can't draw water in order to keep their cane alive, so to speak, and green. So what kind of short-term measures do you think would be feasible to assist cane growers?
Yeah, we've worked with Agri-SA and other organizations, AgBiz, to explain to government what the impact is. And we've had some interactions with the minister, so hopefully that will yield some results. But essentially what we're asking as a short-term intervention is to perhaps consider if Eskom can put these irrigation areas onto a different load shedding schedule for now, while this heat wave continues. And if that's the case, then we could go on to, say, a stage 2 load shedding level, which would mean that farmers would be able to actually irrigate the entire fields. Now, if that's possible or not, Eskom has said to us they are reviewing that, and they're trying to see. They definitely want to come to the party, which it sounds very positive. So hopefully we'll see some action there. Other things that we've looked at is a rebate on diesel for the guys to run their generators, but generator power is so extremely expensive that you can't really irrigate thousands of hectares of sugarcane with diesel generators. So we are bound to the grid for now, and we believe that that is a better solution, is to try and get onto a different load shedding schedule. And then obviously in the winter months when that's cooler, one can always review that.
What's the response like at the moment? You said it's promising?
It's promising. There have been engagements in the various areas. So this is happening sort of on a local level. And we're driving it at a national level through other organizations. So, yeah, the response is positive. We're gathering data. Without data, you can't do anything. So that's our drive. And then obviously getting interactions with the ministers.
Yeah, your industry is also dealing with challenges like Tonga Hewlett is under business rescue. I wonder what impact that will have towards that number that you could lose this year.
Yeah, that's hard to say at this stage. The KZN areas are, luckily, they are rain-fed. So they're not directly impacted, when it comes to load shedding and irrigation schedules. I'm not saying all of them are rain-fed, but many of them are. But yeah, the mills have also said to us they're struggling to do their off-crop maintenance because they don't have power all the time. So lots of machinery that needs to be tested, that needs to be fixed. And if your power is off for 8 hours a day, 6 to 8 hours a day, you can't get your work done. So let's put guys back also in terms of their schedules.
Yeah, and I know you guys are not happy about the health promotion levy, or what we call generally as the sugar tax. And your industry now facing the challenges of load shedding. The prospects are not looking great. What are your main misgivings about the sugar tax?
Yeah, look, it's the same story that we've had for a number of years. We believe there isn't enough evidence to actually show that the sugar tax is working. It's put many farm workers and farmers out of jobs because of the massive impact. It's cost the industry billions of rands. You know, this load shedding cost fades into insignificance if you look at what the HPL has actually done to the sector. And in all of that, we've navigated floods, we've navigated unrest, you know, and it's just impacted. The compounded impact is just massive. So our appeal is still to government to review that, you know, to use a fact-based approach when applying things like taxes onto products, and to come with a multi-pronged approach that can actually tackle obesity and not to signal out one product and to make it the scapegoat. So we still are of the view that we need to work together, and we're consulting with government also to try and, you know, postpone the tax or do away with it completely, so that we can find alternative solutions and not put the livelihoods of 1 million people at risk.
And how are those discussions going?
Very difficult, as you can imagine, but we are hopefully making progress through our sugarcane value chain master plan. The ministers that are running with that, Minister Patel and Didiza, have been very helpful in working towards a diversified future. We are investigating things like sustainable aviation fuels from sugarcane, and our next project is probably bioplastic. So we're working towards you know, away from sugar and molasses only, which we believe is the future. But in the interim, in the short term, we really need some assistance to survive. And I think this load shedding impact has really highlighted that again.
Yeah, and you've explained to us a little bit earlier what kind of short-term measures in that regard you'll be hoping for, and your engagements are promising with the likes of Eskom in terms of putting your cane growers onto a different load shedding schedule and maybe a lower stage to allow them to irrigate the fields, the plantations for longer periods, and hopefully some rebate on diesel. That's in the short term. What kind of long-term solutions would you want to see as cane growers in terms of a stable, reliable supply of electricity?
Look, the first prize is for Eskom to come right and to supply electricity through the grid. Our sugarcane farmers are all connected to the grid. It's been like that, and they've got their transformers on their farms, which they're paying money for. Access to the grid has to be reliable in order for them to be able to irrigate. But it's a different future also. We're looking at solar for many farms. It's at this stage very expensive. You know, we're talking 200,000 Rand plus per hectare just to get your solar installation going. So I'm not sure if that's going to be so viable. And then we're also looking at cogeneration of electricity. All the sugarcane mills produce electricity as it is for their own use from the sugarcane fiber that gets delivered. Now, if we could somehow harness that energy into the local area and have the sugarcane mill feed the farmers with electricity from their own sugarcane fiber, I think that would be a big win for us. So those are part of our medium-term interventions that we are wanting to talk about. We've done a lot of work on that in the past when the IPPs and the renewable energy program was in full swing. And unfortunately, you know, at that time, I think Eskom was not so interested in this type of renewable energy. But times are different now. And if we do it right, the sugar industry can supply over 700 megawatts into the grid.
That's quite
from
a big
the
chunk,
12 mills that are running.
That's quite a big chunk.
So that option is there, and it's all renewable energy.
Okay, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's Dr. Thomas Funke, SA Canegrowers CEO, just outlining some of the short, medium to long-term measures that they would like to get assistance with as cane growers. Otherwise, the industry this year is bracing itself to lose over 700 million rand, will impact the industry very badly, and they employ lots of people.